From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, I'm Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Monday, October 23rd. It is really cold this morning, a frosty wake up. We're going to have mostly sunny skies, so a really nice day ahead with highs in the mid-60s. Tonight, it'll be a little breezy with wind gusts to 20 miles per hour, lows around 50 degrees. And then we get a nice warm up tomorrow and for the rest of the week, really, in the 70s for your Tuesday. In the war between Israel and Hamas, airstrikes hit Gaza again not long after Israel paused its campaign long enough to allow a convoy to carry humanitarian aid into the region. The United Nations says about 20 trucks passed through Egypt's Rafah crossing, carrying heavy equipment, food, water, and other supplies. An earlier round of help crossed the border over the weekend. The Israel Defense Forces say they hit 320 terror targets in Gaza overnight. Analysts say the air attack is a precursor to a ground invasion that Israel has been telegraphing for more than a week. Tanks and troops have been gathering along border areas waiting for the command to cross. Israel says it's increasing airstrikes in Gaza to help cut the risk for soldiers on the ground. Palestinian health leaders say the situation inside Gaza is dire.
There are 2.3 million people who are lacking basic life support, including food, water, medicine, and medical supplies for the hospitals, and above all, the fuel, which runs the water and runs the hospital machines to keep people alive and to treat the wounded. It is a catastrophe. It is not a catastrophe that we will see in a few days. No, today it is a catastrophe.
More than 200 trucks carrying 3,000 tons of humanitarian aid have been waiting near the border for days. Israeli authorities say they let the new convoy cross at the request of the United States. Here in Indianapolis, the conflict in the Middle East is being felt deeply. A pro-Palestinian rally was held in Monument Circle yesterday. Hundreds gathered, demanding two things: an end to the U.S. aid to Israel and an immediate end to the bombing of Gaza. The organizers said they want to see a narrative shift. This rally was not only organized by Palestinian groups, but also supported by Jewish Voice for Peace Indiana.
I'm a Jewish American who stands fully in support of the Palestinian people and freedom and liberation in Palestine. Part of being Jewish for me means that we believe that all human life is sacred, and so for us it is sacred to help protect and support the Palestinian people.
News 8 only saw one counter-protester at the rally. One of IU basketball's top freshmen faces serious legal trouble this morning after a weekend arrest in Bloomington. Mackenzie Mbako is out of jail this morning. He faces preliminary charges of trespassing and resisting law enforcement. It happened early Sunday morning at a fast food restaurant east of campus. According to police, workers say Mbako was rude and cursing in the drive-thru, so they refused to serve him, and he refused to leave. Police say Mbako eventually drove to a different lot where he refused the commands of officers to get out of the car. The officers say they used a baton to break his car window and pulled him out by force. Jail records show he bonded out of jail 2 hours after his arrest. A statement from the school says IU Athletics is aware of the situation. We will continue to gather facts, cooperate with, and monitor the legal process and take further action as the evolving situation warrants. The candidates for mayor of Indianapolis are set to debate tonight on Wish TV. You still have some time to submit what questions you would like to ask Joe Hogsett and Jefferson Shreve. Go to wishtv.com and you'll find a submission page there. You can also email the news station at askthecandidates@wishtv.com. Plus, two local experts were on Daybreak this morning at 8:15. You can catch what they had to say on wishtv.com right now, kind of breaking down the debate and the race between the candidates. The debate starts at 6 o'clock on News 8 on Wish TV. And changes are coming to Carmel as longtime Mayor Jim Brainerd steps down after nearly 3 decades of service. News 8's government reporter Garrett Berquist sat down with the two candidates running to succeed Brainerd. It was during this week's All Indiana Politics.
This might be the most closely watched of all of the mayor's races this year. Republican Mayor Jim Brainerd is retiring after 28 years in office. Carmel has long been a Republican stronghold, but Democrats have made inroads in recent elections. Two city council members, Republican Sue Finkham and Democrat Miles Nelson, are running to succeed him. Both of them tell me they're looking for new ways to communicate with other mayors and with voters.
Well, I think as long as we have an open line of communication with other mayors, we can collaborate on a wider variety of things, whether it be housing, economic development, branding for the region. really the list is endless as far as what we can collaborate on. But again, public safety excellence is top of that pile.
You mentioned economic development in terms of collaborating with the other mayors in this area. How specifically do you see that playing into Carmel's economic development?
Well, first and foremost, I want to make sure that we have an economic development department formed so that we can have someone who is an expert in using data to attract businesses and workforce to our community. There's things we can learn from and collaborate with our partners on, and I want to make sure we're at the table for those conversations. You know, when site selectors are looking for a business to move, they look regionally, then locally, and then hyper-local. So we don't really compete, if at all, until the very end of a project, and so we all win if a project comes to central Indiana, and I want to make sure we're talking about how to capture as much economic development in our region as possible.
You've called for increased transparency from city officials. What form might that take?
I'm calling for this because I hear it at the doors. I've knocked on over 15,000 doors, and people say that oftentimes they don't know what's happening in city government or what projects are being proposed until there's a shovel in the ground. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to have mobile city halls where my department heads and I will be meeting with communities, neighborhoods around the city, meeting at their HOA meetings, meeting in their neighborhoods, answering their questions, letting them know what's happening. Because transparency and communication is so important. Also, I want to have a weekly podcast. Mayor Jensen of Noblesville does this. I love the idea. And so every Friday I'm going to have a week in review summary and what's going to be on the calendar in the next couple of weeks.
All Indiana Politics airs every Sunday morning at 9:30 exclusively on Wish TV. I'm Garrett Bergquist for Wish TV, wishtv.com, and like us on Facebook.
To I-Team 8 and the possible fallout after the Delphi murder suspect's defense team resigned. Richard Allen's attorney, Andrew Baldwin, never appeared in court after evidence was leaked from his office last week. He verbally withdrew from the case Thursday morning. He argues he was betrayed by a friend. Court documents say there were extra measures in place to protect the evidence, but now Baldwin and his co-counsel, Brad Rossi, could end up back in court.
When an attorney is in charge of an office, then that attorney is actually responsible for all of their subordinates, whether or not they're attorneys. And so that includes paralegals, that includes pretty much everyone on that particular ship, and the attorney is like the captain. And the attorney might not have known exactly what was going on, but they're still chargeable with it.
That was Dr. Jody Madeira of Indiana University School of Law speaking right there. All or most of the state's Delphi evidence must now be returned to prosecutors. Judge Francis Gull set a hearing for October 31st regarding the appointment of new counsel. Baldwin and Rossi are expected to cooperate with Allen's new legal team. Richard Allen is accused in the 2017 deaths of Abby Williams and Libby German. Today, there will be more police out on Indiana roads. IMPD and Indiana State Police say it's in an effort to curb dangerous driving and reckless behavior. All IMPD districts will be posting on Facebook the areas that they'll be patrolling. In LaPorte County, a 14-year-old is dead after an ATV crash. It happened around 4:30 yesterday afternoon on private property in New Prairie. Officers say the teenager was driving a four-wheeler, hit an object of some kind, and crashed. According to the Indiana DNR, the teen was wearing a helmet. The teen was pronounced dead at the scene. The name has not been released. In Fort Wayne, a shooting left a person dead. It happened Sunday morning near Calhoun Street and Pettit Avenue. Fort Wayne police say officers found the victim there and the person died at the hospital. So far, authorities haven't released the person's age or name or anything about what led to the gunfire. In Perry County, a man is dead after a shooting. State police say troopers, local officers, and deputies went to a home on State Road 145 in Tell City early yesterday on a call about some kind of dispute with a weapon. Once there, police found Andrew Long shot in the driveway. No word yet of any arrests in that case. And in Colts watch, man, a heartbreaking end to a wild week for the team. They played the Cleveland Browns yesterday. So many good things, all unraveled by the last minute. It was an offensive onslaught. Both teams scored in every quarter. Quarterback Gardner Minshew played well, throwing for 305 yards and 2 touchdowns, including a 75-yard Michael Pittman Jr. catch and run to put the Colts up with the time winding down. Then with less than a minute left, the Browns capitalized on penalties and punched in a game winner.
Honestly, stuff like this is going to make you stronger. It stings. There's no doubt about it. Everyone's, frustrated when games happen like that. But I think this is what builds character in your football team. We got a lot of football left. We're not even at the halfway point. We've got another home game, this week coming up. Move on to New Orleans and get ready to go.
The loss leaves the Colts 3-4 on the season. Andrew Chernoff talked to the coach and players and found one bright spot in the disappointment.
Another Colts game that goes down to the wire. Indianapolis thought it had won this game inside the final minute, but an illegal contact penalty gave Cleveland another shot, and the Browns took advantage, scoring the game-winning touchdown with 15 seconds to play. Just a brutal loss for the Colts, especially emotionally, as they are now on a 2-game losing streak for the first time this season.
All it comes down to is winning the turnover battle. We're 3-0 when we win the turnover battle, and when we don't, we've lost 4. So we got to be better.
There's a lot of good to work off of, too. That was a really good defense we played, one of the best. So I think that should give us a lot of confidence there. That understanding that we have everything we need and everything that we're messing up right now is in our control.
It's tough, probably one of the tougher ones that we didn't have. But, like I said, we're going to feel it. And just got to learn from it and move on. It's a long season.
You point to a million, situations in that game where we could have put it away, right? I mean, it's all, and make no mistake about it. I mean, football is a true team sport. You need all 3 phases, and we had our fair share of penalties and things that didn't go right, and so our defense was there to pick us up, and vice versa. And one thing I know is that this team is tight knit, and I stand by that.
If there was a bright spot, it was the amount of yards the Colts offense was able to put up on Sunday. Indianapolis finished with 456 total yards of offense. Entering this game, Cleveland's defense only allowed 200 yards per game. The big issue, though, again for Indianapolis, turnovers. The Colts had 4 of them for the 2nd straight week. Inside Lucas Oil Stadium, Andrew Chernoff, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and like us on Facebook.
Live Golf's 2nd season is officially in the books with a new champion crowned in the team competition. 12 teams competed in this weekend's team championship. It came down to 4 in yesterday's finale. Bryson DeChambeau's Crushers built an early lead and never looked back to win the championship. The win earns DeChambeau's team $14 million of the tournament's $50 million purse. The Indy 11 are out of the USL Championship playoffs after a 5-0 drubbing Sunday on the road in Charleston. The 11 end the season with 13 wins, 11 losses, and 10 draws. Another contender is in NASCAR's Championship 4, Homestead, Miami. Scary moment with 55 laps left. Kyle Larson slams into the barrels at the pit entrance, throwing debris into the track and pits. Everyone's okay. Christopher Bell took the checkered flag. The win means he'll have a shot at the Cup in the last race of the season. 6 drivers now have a chance to secure the other 2 Championship 4 spots. Next race this weekend at Martinsville. To business headlines, Americans are falling behind on their auto loans at the highest rate in nearly 3 decades. Fitch Ratings says the percent of subprime auto borrowers at least 60 days past due on their loans rose to 6.1% in September, the highest in data going back to 1994. With interest rate hikes making newer loans more expensive, millions of car owners are struggling to afford their payments. When it comes to the highest paying bachelor's degrees, engineering and other STEM-related fields of study continue to dominate. As a result, more students are pursuing careers in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Pew says the growth in STEM jobs is expected to outpace that of non-STEM jobs in the coming years. AAA says drivers saved an average of $5 every time they fueled up this week thanks to the continued dip in gasoline prices. Nationwide gas prices dipped on average by 8 cents to $3.56 for the week ending October 19th, AAA said. Pump prices have lost 32 cents since their 2023 peak of $3.88 a month ago. AAA says the current average in Indianapolis is $3.20 a gallon, down from $3.81 a month ago. Food is on sale again from the soaring prices over the past 2 years. In grocery stores, the portion of food sold on promotion has reached a level not seen since 2019. That's according to research firm Nielsen IQ, but shoppers are still paying more than a third more than they did then. McDonald's is offering free French fries for the rest of the year with a few conditions. First, you have to be registered on the McDonald's app. Once you're registered, you have to make an order of $1 or more. Once that order is in, all you have to do is go to the app's Deals tab, find the Free Fries Friday deal, and click the Add Deal to Mobile Order button. The deal is good for one medium-sized order of fries. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway. Online at wishtv.com and like us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand for even more on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening. And be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.